Jai Hind children. So we had completed the first chapter, the fundamental unit of life in the previous class. Now we are moving to the next chapter, that is tissues. But it is also related to the first chapter because there we studied the structural and fundamental unit of life, that is about cell. And you know that these cells together to form as what? That is tissues. So that is our next chapter, tissues. Look at here. Chapter 6, tissues. In the first chapter, so we had discussed about the difference between unicellular and multicellular organisms. So of that, one of the difference is unicellular organism, there we can see that that particular cell is doing all the activities of its life. That means there is no division of labor. But in multicellular organisms, there we can see that there is a division of labor. That is, there is heart for pumping the blood, then there is lungs for respiration, like that different organs are there for doing different functions. And in multicellular organism, for this specialized cells are there. That cells group together to form tissues, then that tissues group together to form organs, then organ system, and finally become an organism. So now we can study this definition for this tissue. So what is tissue or define tissue? That is, these are group of cells which have similar in origin, then similar in structure and similar in function. That is, these are group of cells, they are similar in their structure, then origin, and they together perform a particular function. Such group of cells are called tissue. Once again, what is tissue? These are group of cells which are similar in origin, structure, and they together to perform a particular function. That is the definition for this tissue. So you know that a cell is a single unit that cells together, group of cells that together to perform a particular function, then that group of cells are called a tissue. So it is group of cell and they are similar in structure, origin, and they are performing a particular function. So that is the definition for tissue. Then give examples for tissues. You know that there are animal tissues are there and plant tissues are there. Then examples for animal tissue: muscular tissue, that is muscles. Then nervous tissue, nerves. Then blood is also a type of tissue. Then examples for, these all are examples for animal tissue. Then examples for plant tissue: xylem, then phloem. These are examples for plant tissue. Okay. These plant tissues and animal tissues, they are not in similar. That you know that I gave here some examples, no? That examples, you know that blood cells, they are different from that of the muscular cells, and that muscle cells are different from that of the nerve cells, and totally these plant tissues and animal tissues are different. Xylem and phloem is also different from that of the animal tissue. Now you can see that what is the difference between plant tissue and animal tissue. Difference between plant tissue and animal tissue. The first difference is, you know that plants are fixed or they are stationary. That means they cannot move from one place to another. So they are fixed. These tissues are also stationary or fixed. But animal tissue, you know that for example blood or lymph, these tissues can move from one place to another. That is, they can move from one place to another. Move from one place to another. That is, for example, blood and lymph tissue, they can move from one part of the body to another region. And also you know that animals, not animal tissue, animals, they can move from one place to another. For what purpose? For in search of food or shelter or for mate. So for that also they are moving from one place to another. But plants, they cannot move from one place to another, but there are some types of or some kinds of movements are there in plant cells. But here we are considering about the tissues. So the plant tissue, they are stationary or fixed, but animal tissue, they can move from one place to another. Then another difference is, most of the plant tissues are dead tissues, and only few of them are living. Most of the plant tissues are dead tissues, only few of them are living. Then what about animal tissue? Most of them are living. Most of them are living tissue, and only few are dead. It is another difference. So once again, plant tissue, they are stationary or fixed, and animal tissue, they can move from one place to another, such as blood and lymph. Then here, most of the tissues are dead tissues, only few of them are living. But here, most of the tissues are living and few of them are dead. Then the structure of this plant tissue, that provide mainly, they provide strength and rigidity. But here you can see that animal tissue, they are flexible and movable. But there is some exceptions are there. That is, some of the animal tissues such as bones and cartilage, they provide strength and rigidity. But most of the animal tissues are flexible and movable. Only bones and cartilage, they provide strength and rigidity. That means they are that much hard. But here, why they become hard and stiff here? Because most of the tissues are dead, so that provide that strength and rigidity. Then another difference is, they here in plant tissue we can see that dividing and non-dividing regions. That means some tissues are always dividing and some regions their tissues will not divide. And so that there is unlimited growth is present. That means throughout their life plant is growing. But here no such differentiation. That means there is no dividing and non-dividing regions in animal body. You can think about the human body. There is no dividing region and non-dividing regions in animal tissues. That means there is limited growth. In animal tissue there is limited growth. Grow up to a limit only. So that is another difference between these two. So what is the first difference? They are stationary or fixed, but animal tissues, they can move from one place to another. What is the another difference between plant tissue and animal tissue? They provide strength and rigidity, but here the animal tissues are more flexible and movable, but some animal tissues like bones and cartilage provide strength and rigidity. And another difference is, in plant tissue we can see that dividing and non-dividing regions are there, so there is unlimited growth. But here no such differentiation such as dividing and non-dividing regions, and here is limited growth. Then another difference is, here in plant tissue you can see that the structure is simple and less organized. The structure is very simple and less organized. You know that the structure of xylem and phloem, they are very simple and less organized. But animal tissue, the structure is very complex and specialized and more organized. The structure is very complex and they are specialized structures and more organized structures. So these are the differences between plant tissues and animal tissues. Next is the classification of plant tissues. So plant tissue mainly classified into two. They are meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. permanent tissues. Based on the dividing capacity, plant tissues are mainly classified into meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. These meristematic tissues again classified into three based on the location of tissue. They are apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. So based on the position of the tissue, meristematic tissues are again classified into apical meristem, intercalary meristem, lateral meristem. Then these permanent tissues are again classified into simple and complex tissues. Simple and complex tissues. And simple tissues are again divided into three. They are parenchyma, then collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Then complex tissues are again divided into two. They are xylem and phloem. So listen here, we are discussing here only about the plant tissue. So plant tissues are classified based on the dividing or non-dividing ability. That is the capacity of division. The plant tissues are mainly classified into meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Meristematic tissues are again classified into three based on their location. That means where it is present. Apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Then these permanent tissues are again divided into simple and complex tissues. And simple tissues are again divided into three. They are the parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Then complex tissues are again divided into two, xylem and phloem. These are the major classification of plant tissue. Besides these, so we are told about that plant tissues, different plant tissues. Besides these, there are some another group of tissues are also present in plant and they are known as protective tissues that we can study later. Now, look at here, we are moving to the next topic, that is meristematic tissues. Meristematic tissues. So what is this meristematic tissues? You know that in plant cells, the tissues are not uniform. That means some cells are dividing all the time, but some cells they cannot divide. And those cells which have the ability to divide, and they are known as meristematic cells. That means those cells which have the ability to divide, they are known as meristematic cells. They have the ability to divide continuously. Divide continuously. So such cells are called meristematic cells, and that cells together to form meristematic tissue. So once again, some cells they have the ability where in plant cells. In plant cell, some cells have the ability to divide continuously, but some cells they cannot. But that dividing cells are called what? Meristematic cells. That meristematic cells group together to form meristematic. So look at here. Here is the definition for that meristematic tissue. So what is meristematic tissue? Tissues which have the power of division. Tissues which have the power of division are called what? Meristematic tissues, and that cells are called what? Meristematic cells. And that cells are called meristematic cells. Next is the characteristics of meristematic cells. So the characters are, they are living and very active cells. So I already told that these are dividing cells. So they are living cells and they are very active cells also. Living cells means what? Cells with the protoplasm. So they are living cells and very active cells. And it's what is made up of thin cellulose. thin cellulose. You know that plant cell. So there is a cell wall and that cell wall is made up of cellulose. But here these are dividing cells. So they want to divide easily so that their wall is very thin. And another one is consists of dense cytoplasm. Dense means thick cytoplasm is present. And there is a prominent nuclei. A single nucleus is present and that nuclei is prominent. Prominent means clear. A clear nuclei also we can see in meristematic cells. And intercellular space is absent. Here intercellular space absent. There is no intercellular. Intercellular space means what? Between the cell, if there is space, that space is known as intercellular space. But in meristematic cells, that intercellular space is absent. Then another one is they grow and divide repeatedly. Why they grow and divide repeatedly? Because its function is divide continuously and produce new cells. So they grow and divide continuously or repeatedly. And the last one is they lack vacuoles. So first chapter we studied about vacuoles. These are large sac-like structure and they store water, that cell sap, amino acid, etc. But here in meristematic cells they lack vacuoles. That's a question. Why they lack vacuoles? Why these meristematic cells lack vacuoles? Because its function is, the meristematic cell's function is only dividing. There is no storage of food material or anything. So that there is no need of vacuole. So these meristematic cells lack vacuoles. These are the characters of meristematic cells. So the new cells produced by these meristematic cells, that shows these all characters, but as they grow and mature, they slowly change these characters and become permanent tissues. We are studying about meristematic tissues, isn't it? Then another one is what? Permanent tissue. From these meristematic tissues, permanent tissues are formed. That means these meristematic cells, that shows all these characters, but as they grow, they change its characters and become permanent tissue. Now we can move on to the classification of these meristematic tissues. So meristematic tissues are classified based on their position or location. Meristematic tissues are classified into based on their position or location. Meristematic tissues are classified into apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. So based on what? Based on the location, where it is present, or we can say it as position. Where is the position of this meristematic tissue? In plants, these are classified into three. They are the apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. The first one is about the apical meristem. So the name itself, apical means apex or apex region, top of the stem and root. So it is present where? At the tip of the root and stem. So that is its location. And what is its function? Bring about increase in length of the stem and root. That's about apical meristem. So I already told that based on the position or location, meristematic tissues are classified into apical, intercalary, and lateral meristem. So here the position is where? The tip of root and stem. So that these meristem are known as what? Apical meristem. Second one is lateral meristem. So this lateral meristem present where? Lateral sides of the root and stem. So here it is. These are the lateral side. So these meristems are known as lateral meristem. Present on the lateral sides of the root and stem. Then, so its location is lateral side. And what is its function? It helps in increase the girth of the root and stem. Girth means what? Diameter. It increases the girth of the root and stem. So, if it is present on the tip of the root and stem, then it is apical meristem. If this meristem is present on the lateral side, then it is known as lateral meristem, and their functions also. So, what is lateral meristem? These are meristematic tissues which are present on the lateral side of root and stem. Then examples for this lateral meristem: cambium and cork cambium. Of these, we need to study about cambium. So, what is cambium? Cambium is a lateral meristematic tissue. It is a lateral meristematic tissue which is present in the form of ring. Where it is present? It is present in the form of ring inside the vascular bundles of dicot plants. Then what is vascular bundles? Vascular bundles, you studied about that is xylem and phloem. That it is present inside the vascular bundles of which plants? Dicot plants. Dicot means two cotyledons. If two cotyledons are present in the seed, then that plants are called dicot plants. In such dicot plants, inside the vascular bundle, that is near the xylem and phloem, this cambium is present in the form of a ring, and that cambium is a lateral meristematic tissue. So once again, lateral meristem, that meristematic tissue present on the lateral sides of root and stem, and this lateral meristem examples are cambium and cork cambium. And what is cambium? Cambium is a lateral meristematic tissue which is present where? Present in the form of ring inside the vascular bundles of dicot plants. Then what is its function? What is the function of this cambium? The function of this cambium is it helps in the secondary growth. Function of cambium. It helps in the secondary growth of the plant. Secondary growth of the plant, and also wood formation. Secondary growth of the plant and also wood formation. That wood we are getting that we are used for making these furnitures. That wood is because of the formation of this cambium. So that is the function of cambium, for it to help in the secondary growth of the plant and also wood formation. Then the third meristem is intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem. So where it is present? Intercalary meristem is present at the base of the leaves and internodes. Base of the leaves and internodes. So where these internodes are present, that suppose this one is a stem, you can see that this region, these regions are the nodes, isn't it? Then here also you can see that nodes. These are the nodes. In between these two nodes, these region are the internodes. So these intercalary meristem present where? At the base of the leaves and internodes. Now you understand where is internodes? So what is its function? What is the function of this intercalary meristem? Intercalary meristem help the growth of this leaves and internodes. It helps in the growth of the leaves and internodes. Thus it helps in or give rise to lateral branches and leaves. Okay, so these are the functions of intercalary meristem. So intercalary meristem is present where? These are present at the base of the leaves and internodes. And what is its function? It helps in the growth of the leaves and internodes. Thus it gives rise to what? Lateral branches and also leaves. So the meristematic tissues we had completed about its function, then location, etc. In these meristematic cells, you know that they have the ability to divide. Then meristematic cell lose the ability to divide and become permanent tissues. Thus, this process of obtaining a permanent shape, size and function is called differentiation. Then what is differentiation? Differentiation. The process of attaining a permanent shape, then permanent size and function is known as what? Differentiation. So these meristematic cells undergo differentiation, then that leads to the formation of various types of permanent tissues. So once again, what is permanent tissue? That is, these meristematic cells undergo what? They lose the ability to divide and form as permanent tissues. How it become permanent tissue? Because of differentiation. Then what is differentiation? It is the process of attaining a permanent shape, size and function is known as differentiation. Thus, because of differentiation, meristematic tissues become permanent tissues. Characters of permanent tissues. Here the tissues may be living or dead. Then another character is they may be thin or thick walled. That means the cells which are present in this permanent tissue, its wall is either thin or thick. Then they have a fixed shape and size because they are not dividing again, so that the cells present in this permanent tissues have a fixed shape and size. Then they having no or poor division capacity. So why? Because these are permanent tissue, they have no ability to divide. So they having no or poor division capacity. Then intercellular spaces are present. That means often present. That means may be present, sometimes it will be absent also. So intercellular spaces are often present. So these are the characters of permanent tissue. Then types of permanent tissues. There are two types of permanent tissue. They are simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. First one is simple permanent tissues. These simple permanent tissues composed of only one type of cells. So how many cells are present in that tissue? All the cells are similar in their structure and they are performing a same function also. So they composed of only one type of cells, thus they are uniform in their composition. That means we can see only one type of cells in simple permanent tissues. And there are some common simple tissues are there. The first one is about parenchyma. It's common simple permanent tissue. Example, parenchyma. So what are the characters of parenchyma? Parenchyma cells are oval or round in structure. Like this, oval or round shaped structures. And they have thin cellulosic wall. These cells, different types of cells are here. These different cells. And the wall of these cells are very thin and it is made up of cellulose. Then these cells are living cells. Okay. So they are oval or round in shape and they have thin cellulosic wall. These are living cells and they are loosely arranged, so that because of loosely arranged these cells, you can see that here large intercellular space. This one is the intercellular space. Intercellular space is present. Large intercellular space is present. And in these cells, suppose chlorophyll is present inside these cells. If chlorophyll is present, then that cells are called chlorenchyma. Then what is chlorenchyma? Chlorenchyma. That means if these parenchymatous cells contain chlorophyll, then that is used for what? Photosynthesis. And such type of parenchymatous cells are called chlorenchyma. Then what is the function of this chlorenchyma? Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Then what is chlorenchyma? If parenchymatous cells contain chlorophyll, then that parenchymatous cells are called chlorenchyma and its function is photosynthesis. Then another one is aerenchyma. What is that aerenchyma? It is in hydrophytes. Hydrophytes means those plants living in water. And in hydrophytes, if these parenchymatous cells contain large air cavities, then such cells are called what? Aerenchyma. That is, parenchymatous cells contain air cavities, then it is called what? Aerenchyma. Then what is its function? If air bubbles are present inside the cell, that help in the plants for what? Floating. That is, help in the floating of plants in water. So these are the characters of parenchyma. Once again, these are what? A simple permanent tissues. The common simple permanent tissues are parenchyma. One of them is parenchyma. The parenchyma, the characters are, the cells are oval or round in structure. They have a thin cellulosic wall and they are living cells. They are loosely arranged so that we can see what? Large intercellular spaces. If inside this parenchymatous cells chlorophyll is present, then it is called chlorenchyma and its function is photosynthesis. If inside this if in the parenchyma cell air cavities are present, then it is called aerenchyma and what is the function? Help in the floating of hydrophytes. The main functions of this parenchyma. The main function is it serves as a food storage tissue. That means the main function is what? Storage of food material. Then some other functions are also there. They help in photosynthesis. We studied about chlorenchyma and its function, that is photosynthesis. And the aerenchymatous cells, they help in floating of these hydrophytes. Then maintain the turgidity of the cell also. So these are the functions of what? Parenchyma. Then collenchyma. Listen the spelling. It is collenchyma, not the chloran. It is collenchyma, another simple permanent tissue. So here the cells are living with elongated cells. You can see that living elongated cells. Like this, living elongated cells, and the walls are thickened only where at the corners. Thick wall is present only in this corner region. Corner region only thickened. And this thickening is due to the presence of a material called pectin. These corners only highly thickened. Okay. So these are the cells, elongated but thickened. Where it is thickened? Only at the corner region. These corner regions are highly thickened. This thickening is due to what? Due to the deposition of a material called pectin. So this pectin is important here. And So because of the presence of this pectin in between the cells, you can see that very little intercellular space. In some time there will be no intercellular space because this pectin is deposited where in that intercellular region. So the highly thickened corner is present. So the intercellular space is also very little. Then these are present where these colongamatous cells are present where located in the leaf stalks. You know that this one is the, suppose this one is the leaf. This region is the leaf stalk. This leaf stalks below the epidermal region. So what is that epidermal region? The outer covering of the cell. It is an outer region, stem or leaf or root. The outer region, a layer of cell is present. That layer of cell is called epidermis. Below this epidermis, in this region, we can see this colongamatous cell. So suppose this one is the epidermis. Here is the colongamatous cells. So it is present in the leaf stalks where below the epidermis region. Then once again the characters of colongamatous cells, living with the elongated cells and thickened wall. Where it is thickened? That is in the corners. It is thickened, and that thickening is due to the deposition of a material called pectin. And these are very, we can see that very little intercellular space, and these are present, colongamatous cells are present in the leaf stalks, and that is below the epidermis. Then what is its function? Function of this colongamma is provide mechanical support and flexibility so that it allows the bending of tendrils and stem of climbers without breaking. You know that the leaves are blowing like this now because of the presence of this colongamatous cell. So that provide mechanical support and flexibility. Thus it allows bending of tendrils, and a tendril, you know that a ring-like structure present in the climbers, that tendrils and the stem of climbers without breaking. So the third simple permanent tissue is sclerenchyma. So sclerenchyma. These sclerenchyma cells are hard, rigid and dead tissues. They are hard, rigid and dead tissues, and their cell wall is very thick. Why the cell wall is very thick? Because of the deposition of another material called lignin. So these are the cells, and its wall is highly thickened. Not only this corner region, the whole region is highly thickened. So this wall is highly thickened due to the deposition of another material called not only the corner region, the whole wall is highly thickened because of the deposition of another material called lignin. But in coloncyma, the corners are thickened because of the deposition of pectin. Here it is lignin, the deposition of lignin, so that the whole entire wall is highly thickened, and the cells are long and narrow cells. Then the wall is highly thickened, corners are also deposited with lignin, so there is no intercellular space, that is intercellular space is absent. Then present, where it is present, these sclerenchymatous cells are present where? These are present in stems around the vascular bundles, so present in stem, then around the vascular bundle. Xylem and phloem, these are the xylem and phloem are known as vascular bundles. Around this vascular bundles also the sclerenchymatous cells are present. Then these are present in the veins of leaves. Where is the vein? Veins of leaves. Suppose this one is the leaf. These are the veins, isn't it? These are the vein of the leaves. In that veins also we can see the sclerenchymatous cells, and also hard covering of seeds and nuts. You know that the seeds and nuts that have a hard shell is there or hard covering is there. That covering is made up of what are these sclerenchymatous cells. So already told that what the sclerenchymatous cells are very hard, rigid and they are with tissues. So this is covered with a hard shell. Then it is also present in the husk of coconut. You know that coconut husk. So shell is there, before that coconut husk is there, and that fibrous husk is made up of what? Sclerenchymatous cell. And these are the characters of sclerenchymatous cell. Then what is the function of this sclerenchyma? It makes the plant hard and stiff, and it provides mechanical strength, rigidity with hardness. So these are the functions of sclerenchyma. So let's recap the today's topic. We studied about the definition of tissues. Then we studied about the differences between plant and animal tissues. Then the types of tissues. Of that, meristematic tissues and permanent tissue. Then meristematic tissues are again classified into apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem based on their position or location. Then permanent tissues are again classified into simple and convex tissues. In that, simple tissues are again classified into parenchymatous cells, collenchymatous cells and sclerenchymatous cells. So up to this we studied. Then if you have any doubt, please see the videos repeatedly, not only one time. See the videos repeatedly and write the main points. Then you read the textbook thoroughly. That also not only one time or two times. So read up to whenever you have understood up to that time, you have to read the textbook also. Then you write the homework questions. Okay. So once again, thank you for all. Jai Hind.